I'm a flexible vegetarian. I think there's a lot of us out there who don't want to follow strict rules, but do want to eat more plants. And I got this idea. And so, bam, out comes Flexitarian, my sweet baby that has been around a long time. But really, at the end of the day, it's just somebody who wants to eat more plants and be flexible about it.
Yes.
Over my personal life and working with a wide variety of clients, what I love is the word flexible because I wouldn't even say I'm a vegetarian at all, even though that's part of the word flexible vegetarian.
Yeah.
It's just I'm flexible with my protein sources. And so I really work with people now based on that flexitarian approach just to have a better protein mix. Mix it up, people.
Hello, fans and listeners. It's Lindsey Elizabeth Cortes, registered sports dietitian and your host of the podcast. My guest today, Dawn Jackson Blatner, aka DJ, is a high-energy registered dietitian, nutritionist, certified sports dietitian, and media personality. She's the award-winning author of 2 books, The Flexitarian Diet, named a top diet by U.S. News and World Report, and The Superfood Swap. DJ won ABC's hit reality TV show My Diet is Better Than Yours and hosted an Emmy-nominated Chicago TV show for 3 seasons. DJ is a trusted nutrition expert, appearing regularly in outlets such as The Today Show and Good Morning America. She was the head dietitian for the Chicago Cubs for 10 years, earning a World Series ring with the team. DJ continues to use her sports background to empower people to eat for a strong body and joy-filled life. DJ, thanks so much for coming on the Female Athlete Nutrition Podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. And, the triple name thing that you have going on, I have the triple name thing. So we bond over that and we're bonding over sports nutrition. So I guess we're new besties. I guess that's how you can sum it up.
Yeah. I didn't always use my middle name, Elizabeth, but actually it happened when I was with my husband who wasn't my husband yet, and I was starting business, and I was like, but my name's probably going to change, my last name. And I didn't know. And then I was like, I love my middle name, and I never used it. So I started using my middle name because I knew my last name was going to change. And then I was just like, I love my name when I say it all together. So I just go with it now, even though I'm kind of like, I have the last name that I think I'm solid with now.
I like that. This is turning into a relationship podcast, I think. No, listen, I love it. I think it flows great. And, it's, we have many names and many facets of ourselves. So thanks for having me.
Yeah. So we're going to have a great conversation today. You've just been in the field working as a dietitian for so long and lots of different types of things you've been working on. But I want to jump right into your books because I think what you write about in your books kind of shares a bit of your nutrition philosophy. And also because I'm the type of dietitian that really wants people to have freedom of choice. Like one diet is not the answer for everybody, right? But sometimes we know in the world of marketing, we say certain things to get people's attention. And so I'm wondering if you could just explain to people who might have heard the flexitarian diet. What is the flexitarian diet? Is it the Mediterranean diet? Is it the ketogenic diet? What is it? I would love to hear in your own words.
What I love this freedom of choice that you said. I just think it is great. And so flexitarian is the combination of 2 words, flexible plus vegetarian. And for many, 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 many years, I thought I was a lazy, horrible vegetarian because I would eat meat. I would have, turkey on Thanksgiving. I would have a hot dog at a ball game. I would eat the meat stew my grandparents would make. I was like, I am such a bad vegetarian. And so guess what? I thought about maybe I'm not bad. Maybe I'm flexible. Maybe I'm a flexible vegetarian, kind of vegetarian. And I was waiting for somebody to write the book for years. And one day I just woke up and I was like, you know what? I think I'm supposed to write this book.
Yeah.
And so I cold pitched an agent and I was like, I'm a flexible vegetarian. I think there's a lot of us out there who don't want to follow strict rules, but do want to eat more plants. And I got this idea. And so, bam, out comes Flexitarian, my sweet baby that has been around a long time. But really, at the end of the day, it's just somebody who wants to eat more plants and be flexible about it.
Yes.
Over my personal life and working with a wide variety of clients, what I love is the word flexible. Because I wouldn't even say I'm a vegetarian at all, even though that's part of the word flexible vegetarian.
Yeah.
It's just I'm flexible with my protein sources. And so I have chicken, turkey, fish, I have dairy and eggs, I have nuts and seeds. I have beans and lentils. I have, tofu and tempeh, edamame. And so I really work with people now based on that flexitarian approach, just to have a better protein mix. Mix it up, people. Be flexible about where you get your proteins from. And accidentally, protein became my personality, just so you know. I was the dietitian, as you mentioned in the intro, for the Cubs for 10 years.
Yeah.
And, it's a bunch of men in a locker room, and I'm talking about protein shakes, and I'm talking about creatine, I'm talking about all this stuff. Never in my life did I think that the table would turn and I would give myself all that same advice. I would give my clients who are about healthy aging and strong aging the same advice I was giving these 20-something men. It's like, oh my gosh. So I'm really protein focused, and that's why it's so important. That flexitarian background for me is just making sure there's a mix in there, baby, a nice mix of plants and animals.
I love that. And also, you wrote the book, but there's been a huge push in the last 5 years of like a plant-forward, plant-focused protein diet. And so I think that your book, if people go back and read it, because it's remembering that, hey, you don't have to be vegan. If you choose to, that's fine, but you don't have to be vegan, nor do you have to say you're on the carnivore diet. Like you can get health benefits being somewhere in the middle just by having a variety of protein sources. And,
amen, alleluia. Flexible, choose your own adventure. It really is the name of the game. And, there's new research coming out about this ratio of plants to animal. And, for your heart health, for longevity. And it really is. It doesn't have to be one or the other, all plants or all animals. There is this nice ratio of having, at least a third of your sources of protein in a day coming from plants, and having fun while you're trying to figure that out. Put some black beans in your turkey chili, put some chickpeas in your chicken Caesar salad, put some edamame, in this or that. Like, I love to protein mix.
Yeah. Yeah. Your story resonates with my sister, so I know it'll resonate with other people, where she, like, over time sort of became vegetarian, but it was kind of like more health related. Like in preference, like she didn't like eating beef. She didn't like the taste of it. She couldn't stand the smell of fish. And then she developed a pork allergy. And then she started raising chickens and was like, they're my pets now. And then it just but same thing. When she would come to visit, it's like, we're going out to a restaurant. I'll just eat whatever everybody else is eating, or on holidays. So she had the same feeling of you as like, oh man, I'm a bad vegetarian. And it's not about that. It's about doing what works for you. You're not good or bad because of the way that you eat. Do what works for you. Nourish your body, fuel your body, and enjoy the taste of food as you're doing it as well. So
yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's shifting it to flexible. The word is flexible. It's like, you're not bad, you're not good, you're flexible. And that term has taken me far and wide. I have done all across the country and nation, actually, and world. I've been to other countries talking about the power of flexibility. So yes, I'm with your sister, and let's be flexible, kids.
I'm gonna start calling her that now, because she never knows am I a vegetarian? I don't know. So you're a flexitarian.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. So your next book, just to because I think the titles of them are so catchy. So the Superfood Swap, because that was, this is a term like, oh, that's a superfood. Is this going to heal all of our ailments? Is this the cure? Is this the magic pill in food form for, why I'm feeling sluggish, why I'm gaining weight, why I'm not performing the way I want to, whatever it might be? What is, in your words, what is the definition of a superfood?
Yeah, so the Superfood Swap came out of actual true frustration of getting dietitian emails to my inbox and feeling like it's a snooze fest of what they were telling people to eat. It was particularly one email that I got about a bok choy stir fry that I was like, are people finding this craveable? I don't understand. Like, that does not even sound craveable. So I was like, oh my gosh, what if I wrote a book that was all about what you crave? Eat what you crave, but do it with better for you ingredients. And so it all started with this idea of, I want people to eat what they crave and just make it with these better ingredients. And so I was like, okay, that's a swap. When you're trying to do something with better for you ingredients, it's a swap. And then what sounds good with a swap? I was like, oh, these could be considered superfoods because they are delicious foods that happen to have extra health benefits. And so it's like, okay, superfood swap. And so really the tagline is where the magic is eat what you crave, but make it with better for you ingredients. I want to eat burgers and pizza and tacos and nachos, and I will. and they're loaded with colorful vegetables and whole grains and, lots of amazing protein mixes, as we talk about. That book to me is just like, it is my heartbeat, because it's all about like joy and enjoyment.
Yeah, I love it. And it's swapping sometimes. Like, here's what I love, but how can I just swap out one or two things to boost nutrition to it? And sometimes you don't even need the swap. I want to know if you agree with me here. It's just add it in. So I kind of did this the other night. I followed a soup recipe, which was great, but it was like no protein. So I'm like, I need to add in, what are my superfoods? Let's add in a couple cans of beans to boost that protein content. And so that's like, I did the superfood, right?
Yeah. So you might be onto my third book, which is now a trademark term, and I have it raring to go: positive nutrition therapy. So a lot of people practice medical nutrition therapy, MNT. Positive nutrition therapy is all about exactly what you said. What can you add, baby? What can you add to get more nutrition? And so I love that. And, when you write books like this, it's like you're kind of building on what matters to you in the moment. It's like being flexible matters, is like eating what I crave matters. And, this point in my life is like, really, how can you be positive? Talk positive to yourself, put positive things on your plate, make your exercise routine positive. Everything can be flipped from, being like, this horrible thing on your to-do list that you have to do to something that really, is fun and enjoyable.
Yeah. It's funny you said this is your new thing. I feel like you've always been positive. I feel like your whole career, your
Right,
whole personality
is.
Yes, the book.
So where's the book? Where's
exactly.
the book? The other tagline that I play with, actually, in terms of trademarking and having websites and book ideas and things. Yeah. The other one that's in battle with positive nutrition therapy is joy as a nutrient. So
I have that written down to talk about.
Yes. Okay. So that's the other one. They battle for my attention. They battle for my time. They both have huge outlines in my inbox right now of like, what I'm working on, because the joy as a nutrient is that same sort of vibe, is like positive nutrition, but the idea of joy in your workout, joy in your food, joy in how you speak to yourself, joy in your calendar. Are you going to dance parties? Like, we need to we need to be doing that.
I know I've been missing that in my life.
Yes, we have to schedule it in, that's part of the deal, is like, if it's not on my calendar, I am not doing it. And that is like, so I double check, I triple check that every week has some sort of joy deposit in there. It's like, okay, I've scheduled it in. And sometimes it's very active joy, and sometimes it's, more, loungy joy, I would call it. But at the end of the day, I make sure it's in there, scheduled, just like I would do anything else.
I've got an outline for both of these books already in my head for you. So I think because I think they can go two different directions. So there's similar themes, but they are two different things.
This is good. We're going to talk. I'll pay a what do you call that? A managing fee. Like, we can we can do this. We can work it through. Thanks.
Yeah. But I think I saw you mention that phrase, joy is a nutrient, on your Instagram page, which I strongly encourage our listeners to go check out and follow, because it's, you've got good recipes, high energy, and sound nutrition advice. And I saw in one of your posts, like, I think it was a recipe, and then you snuck in there, and the most important nutrient was joy, or something like that. And it's like, yes, remember. And this is just so key too, because as a dietitian, like, again, you're high energy fun, you're trying to be positive, but so many people, show up to dietitians or nutritionists because they're dealing with a problem, whether it's their health or their performance or their injuries. And so it's, oh man, I need help. Oh, I need to fix something. I need to change something. And it can feel daunting and it can feel hard. And I think it's really important for our role as dietitians to show them that this doesn't have to be hard. This can be easy. This could even be fun. This doesn't have to be strict. We can be flexible. And also that when you do it and you actually feel good, like, then you're going to have all the fun, right? You feel good. You've improved your health or your performance, whatever it was you were looking for. And so then the fun amplifies. But having joy in the process of making those changes, having fun making superfood swaps and being flexible, trying new recipes, like, it can be a process in and of itself that doesn't have to be daunting.
Preach. I mean, mic drop. I mean, what do you say after that, girl? Like, yes, and more yes.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So let's shift gears a little bit, because your career is just so fun. When I got to like dig into like, who is DJ, and I'm like, this is so fun how you've shifted and morphed. But So as a sports dietitian, I myself am as well, like we get into our careers and we're like, okay, I want to work with sports teams. So I worked at 3 different collegiate universities, and then like you became the dietitian for an MLB. So you're doing something at that time was very different than what you're doing now. Maybe not like the fundamentals of nutrition, but just the day-to-day functions, working with the athletes, probably helping them with travel nutrition. And then, so I kind of just wanted to have a conversation with you maybe about how do I phrase this? Certain things that elite pro athletes kind of need to focus on with their diets. And then now you're a bit more working with the general population, though still people striving for active lifestyles, fitness and health. But there is a difference between like performance as a pro athlete versus performance for everyday wellness. Do you agree that there's a difference?
I mean, it's not that big of a difference. Like it's different, right? It is a bit different that it's, 100% of their time, energy, and everything is involved in this. So there's a little bit maybe more time management involved, with having a regular job and having a family and all these things. But, at the core of it, it really, a lot of times what I say is, it takes really 3 things, the main things of like keeping your, body composition in, this top form for all of us. And it's sleep, it's protein, and you're like, okay, sleep and protein is, really what she's talking about. And, keeping your muscles strong by lifting weights. So I really worked a lot, with these pro athletes on basic things, because you can't overlook the power of simple. Like actually, oh my gosh. I forgot about this, but this is something that this is another book idea that I have like somewhere in my inbox. Listen to this. Okay. So when I was at the Cubs, Joe Madden was a manager at the time, and he had a line called "Do Simple Better."
Yeah.
And that became everything we did in the nutrition field. We were like, we're, hijacking that term and we are going with it. Do simple better. And I think that it takes a load off, whether you're a pro athlete or whether you're an active everyday athlete. It's like, you know what? You don't have to dig in so deep with, all these little minuscule things. It's like, are you lifting weights to build some muscle? Are you eating protein to recover that? And are you sleeping so that your muscles have time to actually grow and repair? It's like, okay, good. I mean, that's a great start. That's a powerful start.
Yeah. I just had this conversation with a client last night. She's been doing amazing and seeing progress, but I think society has made her believe she needs to be doing something different.
Oh,
more
gosh,
like,
yes.
Like more complicated, got to do something more radical.
Yes.
And like, I felt like my whole consulting session with her last night was just me being like, I'm sorry it's not exciting, but you're doing everything right. Like, I was like, how do I jazz this up for you? But she's consistently fueling so well, good ingredients, great fiber. She's hitting her protein goal, and she's been consistent with her workouts because of it. And it's like, that's the goal.
It really is that do simple better, the core basic things. And of course, then I dig into each one, a bit more. It's like, okay, yes, sleep is important, but recovery has been, especially with, let's say, healthy aging and empowered aging and strong aging in my world and the clients who follow me. Yeah. Okay. So we're really, very much talking about recovery. So it's like sleep is your, grand, a master of ceremony when it comes to what do you need to do to recover well is, you got to sleep. But then I've been playing around with this acronym actually lately with recovery because it's really the hot topic. And, and again, this is about the idea of sleep and protein and lifting weights, but there's more in those 3 things, that I dive into anyway. So in the sleep, which is recovery, I've been playing around with this acronym called SHARC.
SHARC?
Yeah, SHARC. So keep yourself sharp. And
okay,
so
SHARC.
Remember the acronym SHARC. I don't know. First of all, I'm pitching that to you because I've been working on it for about 3 months. I don't know.
Let's hear it.
Let me tell you. Okay. So sleep is obviously, I told you, it's the first one. Hydration, because so that's SHARC. A is anti-inflammatory foods, all the colorful produce in our lives, all the omega-3 fats, whatever. R is refuel, making sure that you're always refueling those proteins and carbs. And then C instead of K for SHARC, because I couldn't come up with a K word. C is cross-train. Make sure you're not just like doing one thing. You're walking and you're lifting weights and you're doing Pilates and you're doing jump rope and you're stretching and you're doing functional fitness, and you have a wide variety of things that you're doing for your body for recovery.
Yeah.
And so, in that, SHARC acronym, I'm always looking for new research and new things of like, how can I recover better? Because you recover better means you're performing better. You recover better means you're feeling better. You recover better, you can do everything better. It's like recovery is this.
You get better. You recover better. You get better.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. Yes, 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 yes. So I'm always looking at new research of like, okay, like what can you do? What else can you do? What other little fun fact can I give somebody if I'm like, we're doing the SHARC, whatever. I recently came across a couple of new research studies that I absolutely loved. And I was like, oh my gosh, obsessed, because I'm obsessed with recovery. And it was all about eating almonds. And 2 handfuls of almonds every day, which is easy to do because it's like, okay, they're one of the easiest snacks ever.
Yeah.
I love to also have them like just a handful with like a piece of fruit for a pre-workout thing, or a happy hour. I have a little happy hour every day with a mocktail and some almonds and some cheese and veggies, like a little veggie tray, whatever. I love making like popcorn dark chocolate.
Throwing almonds in there. Yeah.
I think that trio is very important. Popcorn, almonds, and dark chocolate chips. I love that as a thing. Anyway, so getting back to this research is in recovery, these 2 handfuls of almonds a day, really cool stuff about decreasing muscle soreness. I always need that. About helping maintain muscle strength. I was like, okay, I need that. Reducing muscle damage. It's like, oh my gosh, this is very interesting. So, even though I keep it very basic, whenever I come across something new like that, like a new research study, and it's already with positive foods that I love and that are easy to eat. I share that news with people. So I'm like, okay, do the SHARC. And by the way, know the new research about almonds, 2 handfuls a day, girl.
Right. I just did. Yeah, I think almonds, they're also really one of the more like accessible nuts out there.
Yes.
We love all nuts and seeds,
Correct.
But price wise, almonds are great. And I think also the variety of flavors, you can get cocoa dusted almonds, you can get plain raw natural. And you can do, I was having a salty craving, so I got those like really, like the salt and vinegar ones.
Yum.
They're like,
Yum.
I've been going through a salt craving lately. I don't know what that's about, but
I love
I'm
it.
just instead of like the sweet things, I'm like, I want something more savory and salty. And I was talking with one of my clients, I made trail mix recently, and then she was like, I just don't like trail mix because they're too sweet. I said, we can do a savory trail mix. She got rosemary olive oil almonds.
Yes.
And then with like, I think she did like pretzels and cashews, and she had this savory trail mix. So that was just like a fun way to like explore all these different flavors with almonds. But also to go back to your SHARC, I really
What do you think? What do you think?
Oh,
what do you think?
Oh, I love it. I think it's great. And at first I was like, my brain's doing the same thing of you. Can we find a K?
Right. I know. Believe I'm spelling SHARC with a C. I don't know.
But I really value that cross training piece in there because just on a personal level right now, I was in the gym yesterday and I started doing snatches with the barbell. And I had this thought in my head. I was like, thank God somebody along the way taught me how to do this because it's just such a fun movement. I'm no Olympic powerlifter, but I was getting really bored with my workouts. I'm having an injury and I was just getting bored. And I was like, let me go do something exciting that I haven't done in a while. And it like brought me so much joy. So just that idea of like, because I typically used to love to run, but I'm dealing with an injury. I haven't run in forever. It's like, find something else that makes this fun so that you can be consistent. So when you cross train, you keep it exciting, you keep it engaging so that you can stay consistent with your fitness and have joy in the process. So I felt that yesterday of like the importance of doing different things.
Yeah. And, just even repetition for your body. It's like not only for your mind, keeping it like active and fun and like trying new things and keeping it exciting so that you're engaged and you're consistent and everything naturally. But yeah, just I was noticing, I was like, girl, I think you got to change it up because I'm having a lot of fun in my weight classes that I'm doing. But I think my body might need a little Pilates. I think my body might need a little jump rope. I think my body may need a little walking. I think I need to sign up for a functional fitness where, there's a little bit more of like balance and stretch involved, girl. So yes, I think that, cross training thing is a mind and body, blessing.
Yeah. And I love that too. When I was, preparing for our conversation, I loved seeing all your videos about jump roping because it's just that reminder that fitness doesn't have to be traditional sports or traditional gym exercises. Like it can be something a little different. It can be jump roping. It can be skateboarding. It can be a group fitness class. It can be Zumba. Like it doesn't have to be like we just have to lift weights and go on the bike all the time. Now, if you love that, great. But
yes. Thank you for bringing up jump rope because it is quite a little passion of mine.
Yeah, I could tell.
I consider myself a pro jump roper because I have been paid one time to do jump rope. So, I mean, I don't know. Does that carry me into the professional realm?
I guess so. You've been paid for it. Yeah.
Right. I think perhaps. But I love it. It brings me a lot of joy. I love to do it with people. I have a jump rope teacher here in Chicago that I jump with, go to jump rope classes. But I love just even putting music into my headset and jumping on my own. I think it is, great fun. And actually, packing a jump rope bag is one of those things where it's like, it's the coolest thing. I have this neon bag. You go inside of it. I've got my hydration and electrolytes, all these like colorful jump rope. I've got, my almonds in there ready to go. I usually have an apple in there too because they take a beating in my bag, but they still come out pretty good. And so, I love even like the fun of like looking in my little jump rope bag. It's like it is joy. It is joy.
That process, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go back to your SHARC acronym.
Okay.
Because I just want our listeners to hear it again in case. So sleep.
Sleep, hydration. I was like, listen,
hydration.
I'm at the core of me. I am like, do simple better. I think these basics really are powerful. So sleep and hydration, anti-inflammatory foods really was my nod to say, are you having a lot of colorful fruits and vegetables and, healthy fats? Refuel. Don't sleep on the idea that you can just get by with working out super hard and like, kind of calling, it in with your food. It's like your body just did some magical things for you. It is a magical, how does it do all of the things that it does? It's like, make sure you're refueling it. Enough protein, enough carbs, things that you enjoy eating, but also that are fueling your beautiful human cells, to get you to get up and do it again the next day. And then, C being the cross train.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then bringing that again back to my former question of like differences of being a dietitian for protein versus, the everyday amazing person.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when you break it down of like, what are the priorities? Those are priorities for a pro baseball player and for, the CEO or McDonald's employee or mom of 5 kids. Like those are all the things that's going to keep all of those different people healthy and generally well. Like those are just, good priorities for everybody to focus on. So, what I'm hearing from you too is it's like, where's our priorities going? If they go towards these buckets and we're keeping it simple so that we stay consistent, we're going to see results regardless of, what our job title is.
Yeah, isn't it the truth? It really is the truth, is that when people say, like, oh, you're in wellness, like, how do you keep it all straight or whatever? I'm like, really? It's just, can you keep it simple? Can you keep it fun? That's the secret that I don't know. Why are not more people talking about this? But if you keep it simple.
But see, you make it exciting. Most people don't make it exciting. That's the problem. I was going to say, because it's not exciting, but you're making it exciting.
I feel like if I wake up and I don't have a million things on my to-do list swirling about like how I'm falling short on doing the million things in my, morning routine and like all these things. If I can just like, girl, this is all you have to worry about today. Keeping it simple, it's like exciting because it gives me time, energy, and, just the wherewithal to have like more fun in my life, that not everything is this crazy wellness checklist. Keeping it simple and keeping it fun delivers, joy delivers. Mm-hmm. And it is something I would not teach and talk about unless I believed in it and saw firsthand how it works. It's like, it is not just nice to have fun doing these things. If you enjoy something, you naturally keep doing it.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy something, you naturally fight it. So if there's anything that in your life you're fighting, like, oh my gosh, I'm procrastinating this, I'm fighting it, whatever, it's like, stop right there. You need to make it more fun. If you make it more fun, it's not silly. It's not silly to have more fun. It gets you more productive. It gives you more energy to have more fun. Mm-hmm. It gets you more consistent. Fun works, Yeah. And I actually have on my phone a little alarm that comes up randomly that it says, are you having fun? Are you having fun? And, sometimes I'm like, shut up. I don't want to hear about it because I'll be working on, like webinar slides or whatever.
I can imagine myself responding to that alarm as I'm like dealing with two crying toddlers. I feel like
sometimes I want to launch the phone, but I appreciate it because it's like, okay, I'm dealing with, this, webinar that I'm doing. And these slides are absolutely, they're just really hurting my feelings. Like I really am not having fun at all. And I say, oh my gosh, if I'm not having fun actually making this slide, how is anybody gonna have fun looking at this
watching
slide?
it? Yeah.
So it's like, wait a second, I gotta figure out how to have fun in the process of this so that my outcome is better. Or like, it could be anything. And it's sort of like a moment of shifting to like fun and gratitude also. But at the same time, I don't think it's fluff. I used to be embarrassed that I prioritized fun so much. I used to think that was, something to be ashamed of because it's like, you want to be a serious person. You want to get seriously productive and you want to this. But guess what? You're more productive and you get way more done when you're having a good time.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That'll be a book somewhere along the
line. Put that in my hopper, girl. Put that in my hopper.
I want to share for our listeners. I want to take a moment to share a client story because it relates to all this. But when I first started consulting, I always consulted as a dietitian. You always consult, but like as my own business, my own entity. She was one of my very first clients, and she had just a terrible toxic relationship with food and body. And because of that terrible toxic relationship, she didn't even have food in her house. She really didn't cook. But then she always went out to eat, but then there were issues with that as well. But it was just like, oh my gosh, you need to eat to survive. And it was just such this toxic relationship that she had with it. But that was our conversation, was we need to make this fun. This is not a chore. This is not a to-do thing. This is not a because your doctor told you to or because your dietitian is suggesting it. Like, how do you make this fun? And by the end of working together, not only was she cooking at home more often and having her pantry full, like we totally, one of my favorite clients to work with, just the way that we shifted. We did a lot of work in there, but it also like strengthened her relationship with her husband. They started cooking meals together. Then they started going to cooking classes for date night. And, it was just this beautiful story of like, she was like, even when my husband's not home, she goes, I put on one of my, favorite shows on Netflix. She does, never gets to watch because maybe her husband doesn't want to watch it. And and it's her alone time. And it's just like, you can make something, even if you don't, nor you and I have a passion for food and cooking, but some people don't. But you can make it fun. You can turn it into your self-care. You can turn it into date night. You can turn it into so many things. Put on your favorite podcast, like explore your favorite foods. There's so much you can do to make food fun.
I love that. Thank you for the case study because I think that really brings it to life, like when you hear the real world example. I also think what's crazy is I'm really not somebody who enjoys cooking or really cares. I am very much of like food is magic. It helps me bring my best self to things. I'm able to perform better. I'm able to feel better. I'm able to like give love to the checkout person at my, local grocery shop. Like I'm obsessed with good energy. Like I'm obsessed with good energy. So eating for me is more of like, one of these things where I've always been like, oh, I don't even really care about what it is of cooking it or whatever. It's just like,
want to reap the benefits.
Feel good. Yeah, I want to reap the benefits. So I've always been sort of this benefit junkie, when it comes to good food. But you are right, is that even for somebody who was never a passion of mine naturally, you can make it a passion and you can make it something you enjoy. And mine is always like, how can I make the recipe with the least amount of ingredients ever? In the fastest amount of time, probably listening to good music. Like the idea of finding your own fun, like, fun doesn't look like it does for me. It does for you. It does for that client. It does for, whatever. It's like, what your version might be, way more low key, or it might be fun is 1,000 ingredient recipe or something,
Yeah.
And so I think the other thing is like finding your own definition of what that is, not looking, just like everything. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't compare your, results. Don't compare your journey, But also, don't compare what looks like fun to somebody else may not be your version.
Right. Thank you for that. And I wouldn't have known that about you. I just assumed you, but it makes sense. No, I just like how it makes me feel, because that ultimately too is what food is, what's a tool so that you can go out and live the life that you want in the manner you want to. It literally fuels you for it. So
yeah, and I
you're
like
walking proof of it.
well, and I like the idea of testing. You know, so like a lot of times I will just like say, okay, you don't have to believe my SHARC. You don't have to believe my 2 handfuls of almond research. You don't have to believe hydration works. You don't have to believe in fun, whatever. You don't have to believe any of the stuff I say. Why don't we just do a test? Why don't we do a test? You see in your own life how it works. And if you enjoy what's happening, then you can keep doing it. And
Yeah.
I like that because I don't feel like committing just because somebody says so is the right way to do it. It's like, anything you hear, test it out. And if you can, feel like it works into your lifestyle and it's flexible with you and you're enjoying it, it's like, keep it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I had 2 other questions that I think
Oh,
you
good.
already answered. So they might
Oh.
be dud questions, but
Okay.
you can just be like, yep, that's that. Okay, so 3 steps to building more muscle.
Oh, I work this. Listen, it's something
You
I
worked
work
it
into
in.
pretty much every conversation. I'm
Sleep,
always working it in. Yep. So I'm always
protein.
like sleep, protein, lift weights.
Got it.
This is for me, again, not anything. Talk to me 5 years ago, even. Would I have even considered everyday athletes need to do this? No, I wouldn't. I'd be like, oh, you're getting plenty of protein. I'm sure your sleep is fine. I don't know. As long
Yeah.
as you're being active, I don't think you have to lift weights. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know what I was thinking. But guess what? Empowered aging and research actually doing a project. So I was assigned a project for nutrition through the ages. What you need for nutrition in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s and beyond. And so I was like, oh gosh, this project sounds kind of boring, whatever. So I was trying to do it with a little bit of fun and pizzazz, and I was looking up new research articles, whatever. And that's where I became just like enamored with protein. I was like, oh my gosh, like it actually is a macronutrient that is a big deal. And I was like, we need
there's
more.
a big push. There's more research coming out. The aging
thing is
huge.
real. Like,
Yeah.
and when I was doing this project and I saw that, we don't do as well breaking down protein and using amino acids as we age. And we really need to focus on getting not just random drips of protein through your day, but like, especially women, that we need 30 grams at one time to get enough of the amino acids to wake our stinking muscles up to make, muscle protein synthesis, baby. It's like, wake up. So like learning that protein needs increase as we age and learning that you can't just do it any way you want and you have to really pay attention to timing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like sports nutrition that I used to do at the Cubs. It's like, this is now I need it for, for me. And so that's, that definitely these 3 things, even though I'm sort of like, oh my gosh, I say sleep and protein and lift weights, but that is actually new, in my 20 plus year career of really trying to focus on the metabolic health of an individual as based on how much healthy muscle tissue they have.
So it's funny because I did a little Instagram post a month or so ago, and I said, is 30 the new 20? Not age, protein.
Yeah.
Because it used to all be about like 20 grams protein, 20 grams of post-workout protein, and now it's all like 30 grams. And so it's interesting because there is newer research that's kind of like definitely as we age or going through perimenopause or in menopause. So, and then, there's a few other research too, like highlighting this need of like, muscle protein synthesis, like where it actually stimulates. So it is new research. But I was kind of questioning this big push on protein recently. I wasn't sure if it was all research based or if it was my demo, because I'm aging, right?
As are all of us lucky
we're all
ones.
aging.
We are all lucky to be aging because the opposite or the alternative is not so great.
No, it's not.
Yes.
So, but it just is one of those things where like I've in the last few years become more like attuned to it. So I didn't know, is this new research or am I just like hyper aware now as I'm entering an age category where I'm like aware of the effect, like I feel the effects of age. I was aging from 20 to 25, but I didn't feel it, right? Now I feel it. So now I'm actively looking to do things to take care of myself for it. And protein is one of those ways. Like I used to be able to have oats for breakfast or like toast. And now I'm like, I really need eggs for breakfast. I really need a high protein breakfast to feel good. And nothing has drastically changed, in my workouts or lifestyle other than probably aging.
Well,
So.
and I think the frustration sort of like, your post of like, is 30 the new 20? And like, it is frustrating on some level because people will hone in on one macronutrient and you're like, no, P.S. Protein's important, but you need to eat fruits and vegetables. You need to eat your nuts and seeds. You need to eat fish, or whatever. You need to eat all these other things besides just, and then of course it gets corrupted a bit because it turns into not food and like all sorts of
supplements and
supplemented cookies and supplemented chips and, whatever. So it's like, at the end of the day, it is one of those things where it was an aha moment for me of like, oh my gosh, for empowered aging, muscle health is everything. And so thinking about muscle health being lifting weights, having your protein and sleeping, that's where that acronym, or that's not an acronym, that's just a 3-point thing.
3 things,
and then because of the aging and like so many of my clients too, were like, girl, I think I need to do a better job with recovery. Recovery matters. That's where I started, playing around with this SHARC idea. That's where I started playing around with what's new research, like the 2 handfuls of almonds a day. That's recovery started becoming, in addition to that, 3-point prong system, became a lot of what I talk about in my sessions with everyday active lifestyle people who, all my gym rat friends.
Yeah.
And actually, speaking of gym rat friends, I'm going to be having a birthday soon, and the theme of my party is Gym Rat Fairy. I'm going to be a Gym Rat Fairy. I thought that was like the perfect thing for me.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see pictures of it on your social media.
I know.
How fun. Well, okay. So now I have some true rapid fire questions to end this.
Perfect.
All right, DJ, if there's one food you could eat every single day for the rest of your life and never get sick of it, what would it be?
Pizza.
So
and guess what? Superfood swap pizzas, like all sorts of different ways you can make it with fun ingredients. You never get sick of it because you can make it in a million ways.
Mm-hmm. We have pizza once a week in my household, so it's a favorite.
I mean, that's the baseline. It's its own food group, and that's the baseline. So there you go.
Yeah.
You have achieved your at least once a week pizza protocol for me. Thank you.
Yeah. What is your favorite sport to participate in?
Oh, sport to participate in. Now, I was a real soccer girl back in the day. Let's just say I enjoyed that. But I'm going to call my jump rope sport, and I'm going to say jump rope because I do it with like a little tip jar sometimes in the summertime in Millennium Park. I'm a Chicago girl. And donate those tips. I donate those tips. But that's, that's like a spectator sport that I'm doing there. So
it's like, it's fun to watch. It's captivating because it's like not like, you're 10, you jump rope and then you don't do it ever again. Right. See.
Or boxers, or you think about boxers. You don't always think about, the adult woman doing a choreographed routine with her jump rope.
Yes, it's a dance. It's very cool. Okay, now, how about as a spectator? What's your favorite sport to watch and spectate?
Here's the thing. I like to watch any sport where I'm actually in the stadium. Mm-hmm. If I had to pick, baseball's probably number 1, but I love not TV watching. I love to actually be there because there is just nothing like, being in that just energy of, it's invigorating. But baseball is probably number 1 for me.
I love that. Okay, last question. If there's a female athlete out there you want to give a shout out to for being a role model, inspirational, she can be super well known or in your personal life, who would it be and why?
Oh my gosh, I love that. Simone Biles, I'm going to give you a shout out, girl. And it's because of the mind-body connection she made us all very much aware of. Is like, listen, you could be at the top of your game and your mind can start drifting. And guess what? There is hope. There are resources, and you can get your mind right. And so that idea of positivity and positive self-talk and empowering self-talk, I mean, we saw it front and center on an Olympic stage. And so for me, that was, it's breathtaking. It's inspiring. It's everything.
So shout out to Simone and to you, DJ. Thank you for all the work that you do in helping people across various sports, life stages, performance goals, and having fun with their food, being flexible, using food as a way to really fuel you and live the life that you want. It's your bio, you're a high energy dietitian, but you gotta you feel it, you feel it when you're talking to you and when you see your content. So that's really helpful for people to make positive changes. And can't wait to see your next books that come out in the next few years.
Well, hey, thanks for having me. I love your podcast. So this has been such a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening, and I really hope you enjoyed that episode. Please help spread the message of empowering female athletes to be fierce, fit, and fueled by giving this podcast a 5-star review and leaving a comment. You can also help more female athletes by sending this episode to a friend. Head to lindseycortes.com for more resources, information, more episodes, ways to work together, downloadable guides, and ebooks. And if you're interested in becoming a guest on the show or have a guest suggestion, head to lindseycortes.com/podcast, and there's a form for you to fill out to get on the show. Hey, there's more resources on my YouTube channel, Female Athlete Nutrition, Instagram at female.athlete.nutrition, and private Facebook group, Female Athlete Nutrition. I think you get the point. I'm here to support female athletes by fueling better and becoming fierce, fit, and fueled. Most importantly, if you need help, reach out. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next show.